Coming up on Work It Out with Lauri, today I'm discussing a question that I could probably talk about for hours.
But she won't because these are 10-minute episodes. Join us for more on Work It Out with Lauri.
Howdy, WBP crew. Welcome to Work It Out with Lauri, the no-nonsense show for anyone navigating workplace bullying, chaos, or straight-up dysfunction. I'm Lauri Lilly, your host. I'm here to help you make sense of all the drama you're experiencing at work.
And I'm Cosmo Esplin, Sir Showrunner and your backstage guide, directly providing Lauri with your questions and workplace dilemmas so you get the practical solutions you need. So what do you say? Let's work it out. All right, well, welcome back everyone to Work It Out with Lauri, and welcome back, Lauri.
Thanks so much, Cosmo.
Yes, so today we have a question that comes in that you said you could talk about for hours, and I believe you, but we're going to keep it nice and concise here. So this question comes from someone who is using a pseudonym. The pseudonym, funny enough, is Sir Showrunner. It's quite a coincidence. I don't know why that is. But the question is, what is the most common observation that you have made since starting WBP 2 years ago? From Cosmo. Shoot, dang it. I thought that this person was using a pseudonym. I think that it's something that a lot of people are curious about. So what's your answer?
Thanks. I appreciate it. And I am going to be concise here, although I legitimately could speak for hours on this. The most obvious pattern I've observed over the past 2 years is that people reach out for support when there's already been quite a bit of harm done. They're very far into their experience as a target. They've been a target for usually months and months and years. At this point, tremendous harm has been done. They're usually or likely involved in grievances with HR. They might be on medical leave because they have to take a break for their mental and physical health to get away from the person abusing them in this abusive environment. I think that's my message that I want to continue to share with everyone, anyone who's listening to this, and this is why it's really important that we build awareness around bullying, is that we need to get to a place where people understand they're being bullied sooner, the very second they realize it. The second they realize they're being bullied, that they get their support huddle in place. And that's the phrase I use for all of the people who you want to surround yourself with when you're being bullied, because it really does take a village when you're being bullied. There's an incredible toll that's being taken on your physical and mental health as you battle this experience every single day at work. When speaking with people, the very first thing they want to get from me is validation that they're being bullied. And this is a result of the incredible gaslighting and crazy making, the lies that are being told, the very bizarre reality of everyone else seems to be doing okay. You're looking around at work, you're the target, and everyone else seems to be doing fine. They're thriving, they're happy, maybe not all the time, but they're certainly not being targeted by this really crazy person who just will not leave you alone. And that's a really weird experience, and I've experienced it too, where everyone else is happy as a clam. People don't understand what bullying looks like. It feels like there's this confusion because of all of the gaslighting and the mind control. And so what they start to do is, because what do we know about targets? Targets are some of the most ethical, hardworking, competent, high character individuals out there. So what do targets automatically do? They look inward and they try and take responsibility for it. Well, gosh, I think it must be something about me. Maybe I'll try and change something. So what they do is they try to be really, really nice to the bully. They try and out-nice the bully. That does not work. That is not a strategy that will ever work. Number two, maybe they're going to work on being really, really, really good at their jobs. So then they try and upskill, and they're trying to perform, do everything correct. You can be the most exemplary employee, and a bully will find a way to find every negative and plus some. And ignore all of the positives. It's just not possible. Those two strategies never, ever work. So then what do? There's that dehumanizing event eventually where it's gotten so bad that they need someone to intervene. And what do? They go to HR, and this begins another escalation process.
See episode 2 for more details on that.
That's right. Their friends and family and loved ones who may not be informed or understand bullying and what HR does and what needs to happen here, or potential strategies for the person being bullied. They say go to HR, and this begins a whole other escalation process that leads to very serious harm. That begins the secondary betrayal, the secondary harm. And you see how this is all very confusing. There's just all of these things that are happening. And by the time they realize, whoa, this situation has gotten really out of control, their physical health, their mental health has declined. Personal relationships suffer like crazy. There are a lot of people who don't understand what bullying is. And so in personal relationships, there may be commentary from a spouse or a loved one or friends who just say, you need to get over it. You really need to get over this. This can't be that bad. And those are the people who just simply don't understand this isn't a difficult coworker. This isn't that personality conflict or the incivility, right? That looks different. They probably have experienced those things, and that's why they can only compare to their experience. Anyone who has been bullied and abused at work knows that it's a completely different animal. And so now we have personal relationships that are suffering. It can take over your life. And so all of this to say, that's the common theme that I've observed, is that because of all of these dynamics and the overall confusion and the lack of knowledge and awareness about what bullying looks like, and some of the misinformation that exists out there about potential relief for the bullying, hint, hint, going to HR, don't do that without a strategy, is that by the time people get to me, they're at a point where they need very serious help.
I'm not sure, Lauri, if you've heard of that study before that's been done where humans are more likely to give their pet medicine than themselves the medicine they need. Have you heard of that
I
study
haven't
ever?
heard that study.
Really? Okay. I don't remember the name of the study or anything. I just remember I've heard about it a couple different times that they're more likely to give their dog the medicine they need than themselves the medicine they need. So it seems like there's a trend, maybe it's not even a trend, maybe it's just human nature, to be more hesitant or reserved to do something about problems that are in your own path that are affecting only you as opposed to those around you. Do you think that hesitancy plays a role in people's decisions to come to you late?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic piece of insight there, Cosmo. Thank you very much. And the other point, what you just shared reminded me, so many people who are bullied feel immense shame for the fact that they're being bullied. A lot of people tell me that by the time they come to me that it's taken great courage. And it does. It takes immense courage to finally raise your hand and say, I need help. And I think a lot of people are also very nervous about the confidentiality. And so I do want to share that anyone who schedules an initial consult with me and who works with me, it's completely 100% confidential. You can share, I always say, you can share names, you can cry, you can share, it's going nowhere. It's just sitting with me. I simply am here to provide tools and resources, strategies and support to people who are being bullied. We need more people who have expertise in this area to help the people who are being bullied, because there are millions being bullied right now.
So, last question, what would you say to someone who is maybe on the fence about whether or not they're being bullied, or even those who have realized that they are being bullied but they're not doing anything about it? What words of encouragement would you share with them?
First, you're not alone. You're not alone. I'm right here, and there are other people who provide support for people who are being bullied. Second, I suggest that you download my resource, Am I the Target of a Workplace Bully?, as well as another resource about what is workplace bullying, so you get some clarity around it. And then just do a little bit of research. There's a lot of information online, and I always tell people, find that balance. You want to have enough information so that you're informed. But there are people who just get stuck in that vibe because when they finally figure out what they're experiencing, they have this aha moment and they're obsessed with it. They become almost obsessed with it's just like, oh my gosh, because they're getting that validation that they finally figured out what is going on. They figure out the person's bullying them is either a narcissist or maybe a dark quad personality. And I've seen people go down this rabbit hole and then they get stuck there.
Sounds like a Stephen King novel.
Yeah, unfortunately. So don't get stuck at that point. Do enough information so that you understand what's going on and then get support. If you're in a situation at work where you recognize you're being bullied, schedule an initial consult with me and I'm here to help.
Boom. There you have it. Can't drop these mics, but if we could, then we would. So thanks, Lauri, for providing the information that people need on this.
Thanks, Cosmo. Thanks so much for tuning in to Work It Out with Lauri. If today's episode hit home at all, please share it with someone who needs it. And please remember, you deserve to work in peace. Oh, and hey, if you're listening and you're currently a target of a workplace bully and you need help, please feel free to schedule an initial consult with me. It's completely free and completely confidential. I've got your back.
And remember to follow this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Substack. Plus, send us your story or your question at workplacebullyingproject.com.
We'll see you next time, and we'll work it out together.